Hi, here we are in the green room with Fish Go Deep. We have Greg and we have Shane.
Hey.
Hi.
Hello.
Hi. Oh, is that it? Body language. So his arms folded. He doesn't want to talk to me. So everything crossed right. Let's get it out of the way.
What?
Fish Go Deep. Is that you're famous for? But apart from that, you're both DJs. Yes?
Yeah, for a lot longer than we are producers.
Producers.
So, yeah.
So let's talk about your DJing now.
We're hitting 25 years this year.
This year, yeah, playing in Cork.
Yes, we're having a big party at the end of next month. Just a weekend kind of celebrating it with a couple of parties, an exhibition of photographs and flyers and posters from over the years. So there's a couple of other things. We're releasing a compilation of some of our productions. So yeah, the DJing was, you know, that's what it sprung from. The kind of.
I think it wasn't until, I don't know, about 5-6 years in before we started making music. I suppose like we first and foremost were DJs, you know, so we kind of came from there, and then the production was, I suppose, as a DJ you have a lot of spare time. So the
hours are good.
The hours are good. So it's obvious maybe we should try and make this music. You know?
So how did you guys meet then?
I used to go along to, I was in school, I was sort of 17, I used to go along to a club that this guy ran.
And he had records?
I had some house records, which was a bit of a rarity in the city at the time. There weren't too many people with a collection, so.
Yeah, I mean back then, I think a lot of people don't realise that now, you know, back then in the kind of, you know, in the kind of mid to late 80s, you know, to actually have the records, you had to go and get them. You know, you might have to go to London, you had to get them sent to you. You know, now in the age of where everything is available, you know, if you hear something, you can have it now. Back then, it was so important that, you know, people had the records, you know, so you had to be a collector first as well as be a DJ.
Wow, I'm a collector.
Yeah, you know the way. You know, we used to make a pilgrimage almost to London, like, and then eventually we hooked up with Mike Pickering in Manchester when they were doing the Hacienda and that, and we were getting records from the same shop they got them from every week. But they had to be posted to us. There was no shop, you know, where we lived. We lived in a small town in the south of Ireland. You know.
Really? So the music scene in Ireland was.
Well, I mean, where we were from, when we started playing in clubs, there was a history of, you know, maybe reggae, and there was a club scene of sorts, but there was this idea of, you know, playing and mixing music sort of end to end, you know, for an entire night. It was pretty alien. So we sort of introduced the idea.
I suppose like we were in Cork. We would be one of in Ireland. We were probably the first people who really kind of jumped on the house thing quickly, and the city took to it very quickly. It kind of made sense to them. And interestingly, Cork was more interested in the soulful end of it and the Stranger records, and not necessarily the big ones, you know, that were big everywhere else. Cork didn't like those sometimes. It preferred the kind of slightly quirkier things. I think we took our lead maybe more from New York than we would have done from London in a lot of ways. And you know, the music that we were attracted to was that kind of style of house. You know, the kind of, you know, good vocals and kind of dubby kind of underground sound. And Cork City, for some strange reason better known to itself, like it's got a population of I think about 180,000 people, it actually really jumped on it. And like when we get a DJ in from, you know, a visiting DJ, they just couldn't believe that these people were so into this music, you know, and into that part of it, you know.
Wow. So
it was really unique and really different, and still is to this day. It's like, I think you'll find it in different places all around the world where there's a different sound, or people pick up on a different idea, and Cork picked up on what we liked, you know, kind of a. Plus, it was a weekly, you know, we did a residency in a club in a place called Sir Henry's for 13 years, every Saturday night. Generally, it was just the two of us. We might get a guest DJ every 8 weeks or 10 weeks, and it wasn't about the guest DJ, it wasn't about the marauding kind of guy with his kind of all the big ones. It was about our relationship with the people on the floor, and it was kind of really special back then, when you probably had it a lot more. I think you probably had a lot more in London, in Manchester, all over the UK particularly, or in New York, where it was residents. You know, it was just, you know, those people you went to every week who always just played the best records, or they had them, or they were, and you built up that relationship with them. They also had the chance, which you don't see happening much anymore. You probably, maybe a bit in Europe again, is you could break a record.
Right.
You know, you could have a funny record, and like after 6, 8 weeks, 12 weeks, people loved it. You know?
We still try and do that.
Yeah,
We
but
do,
no,
but I totally.
But
it's getting harder.
If you're guesting in a different club every week,
You're
it's hard
right.
to actually build up a record.
Yeah.
You know, where Byron Stingley, we just met there, his first records. It took us 6 or 8 weeks to really make them favourites on the dance floor. The first time we played them, people would take their time to. They're not obvious records. There's no big hooks in them.
No.
So. If you have the time and space to work the record and to make it into a big record, it becomes much bigger than just an instant kind of throwaway. So.
And I think that as well, because we had that experience as DJs to start, like from that point of view, you had your own sound. We built up, we actually, because you were given the luxury of not being totally influenced by everything else around the place, you had your own thing. So you kind of, it makes you be quite confident about what you're playing, because they are good records and people react to them.
So who influenced you? Who was there must be a DJ out there.
Originally it would have been Mike Pickering and Graham Park from Hacienda.
A lot of the Manchester DJs. They were the first guest DJs that we had over, and
that would be 88 kind of time.
Right.
And obviously they were a few years kind of ahead of us, in terms of clubbing, just the whole idea of the modern concept of clubbing. So just the way they presented the music, the way they mixed the music, that was huge for us, I think.
And as we went on, I suppose the people like Kerry Chandler, he was like a real big influence, and his sound back then was so rough and raw. And I know Kerry's blown up now; he's huge now. Back then, he arrived into the club and he was playing the piano. He got a piano and hooked it up, and we'd never seen what's going on here. There's DJ. He's not only DJing, but he can play the instrument too, and then started singing.
He did that here.
Yeah.
He did that here. He came. Keyboard. Everything.
It's like Kerry Chaos Chandler.
Yeah.
Next minute he's taking apart your mixer. You're like, what's going on now?
He would come into the club and
start rearranging the sound system.
Maybe rewire a few speakers.
I think Kerry's coming. I think, oh God, so I'm going to need a couple of days before the gig and a couple of days after the gig to try and put the club back together again. Amazing.
So have you met many DJs here? Because we have Carl Dupree's here.
Just came in there now. We ran into DJ Pierre, who's another
legend.
We were just after
he left, and we looked at all the stuff he's produced. And we went, oh my God! It was like all my favourite fucking house records are in this pile,
Yeah, it's brilliant. And we shared we journeyed in from Edinburgh Airport with Nicky Siano, who's amazing stories of New York in the 70s.
Right back when at the start of DJ, when it was amazing, incredible.
So it's been lovely just to interact with people, just as you said.
So that's why we came down early.
Had a picture taken with parents singing.
Yeah, hey, Byron.
So listen, so your first, performance here at SSW3, and you've met all these amazing people.
Yeah,
that's what's nice about something like this, is that you get a chance to maybe hang out and talk to people as well. You're not just arriving in and half an hour before you say go on, get a drink, whereas you actually might be able to kind of hang out and hear what other people are doing. It's lovely.
It's really
really important. Because sometimes DJs just arrive, do the job, and then they're gone. It can be a little bit soulless.
You don't get the sense of place, where you are and the people that you're. But it's lovely to be.
I think SSW3 can honestly say that has a very family orientated feel to it. Everybody that comes here says they feel like it's family.
Yeah.
They don't feel, even the people that pay to come to the weekends. Some girls have come on their own because they feel.
Well, that's
safe,
a really good sign, because then they feel safe and they know they're in a place where everybody's here for the one reason, to hear great music.
They're all here.
It's a club, it's a big club with loads of different rooms, and that's what a club is.
Yeah.
We're not here to cause trouble.
No.
We're here to have a great time.
Yeah. So we've got DJ spinning here as well.
Yes, he's on at the moment.
He's on at the moment. So what room are you in?
We're on after him.
You're on after him.
Which I kind of found. I was a bit surprised.
Blue room or the pressure point?
The pressure point.
The pressure point. What time?
1:30.
1:30.
And we might even play that song.
I think they might be a bit disappointed if you don't.
We play the acoustic version with my guitar. Have you got a guitar, lads?
Well, listen, guys, I think we're going to have to wrap this one up. Really, really glad you came in and had a little chat in the room here.
Cool, it's great.
We'll be there.
Yeah.
Fish Go Deep. The DJs
And the producers.
And the producers. Okay. And you've got something new coming out, yes? Did I use it?
We've got a compilation coming out next month. Of some of our
from like both remixes and production work from the last.
Gone way back, yeah.
Excellent.
Way back, and we've just done a new mix of Nights Like These with Tracy. It was an old track that came out on In Spirit, British label.
Was it the first record we did with Tracy?
I think it was the first record we did with Tracy, but we've done a kind of a slightly different mix of it. So that, and again, it hopefully will draw people's attention to the track again because it's a lovely track.
Will you bring it out and buy them?
No, not at the moment. It's not viable for us. Would you like to press it up?
It's available. Yeah.
Okay, right. Thanks, guys.
We'll send you a copy.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
It's been a great pleasure. Thank you very much. Thanks.